Show might make you cry, will probably make you angry, will most assuredly make you laugh, and is guaranteed to make you think. 3-6 Nation Radio, where no topic is too hot, no take is too cold, with Monica Livingston. 3-6 Nation Radio, in 3, 2, 1.
Trapped in New York, flying solo. The baby bird has been pushed out of the nest, and I am here greeting you all. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Mazel Tov, Happy Kwanzaa, Harambe, if you will. All of the things. I am very pleased to be with you. I am livid. Let me just start by saying two things. Number one. Okay? And number two, America, what is going on? This has been just a year, hasn't it? I mean, when we think back at where we started in 2016 with the election of Donald Trump, the world was shocked and stunned. I think people on all sides were very surprised, to say the least, at what had happened. And over the course of the year, we have had riots and we have had murders. We have had people being hit by Nazis in their cars. We have had torches and police. We have had the destruction, the constant attack of our healthcare system, the tax system. We have had... There were Nazis in the streets, people. Like, what is going on? I'm confused at my nation. And right when we think we have something moving in the right direction, right, we have a backlash of people who say, you know what, we're going to fix what we can. And we had a big shift with the Me Too campaign. Times Persons of the Year were the silenced women who have spoken out. I'm very pleased with that. There's even backlash against that from the people who have been claiming to support that. It has been a year of turmoil. It has been a year of fighting. My friends, I got bad news for you. 2018 is not going to be a rest. So gird up your loins, get your army suits on, pack up your... and let's get to work. I'm Ivan Woner, 3-6 Nation, America. God damn.
Mississippi, goddamn, it's our last tune. We had some request for it. Alabama's got me so upset. Tennessee made me lose my rest. And everybody knows about Mississippi, goddamn. Alabama's got me so upset. Tennessee made me lose my rest. Everybody knows about Mississippi, goddamn. Can't you see it? I know you can feel it. It's all in the air. I can't stand the pressure much longer. Somebody say a prayer. Alabama's got me so upset, and Governor Wallace has made me lose my rest. Everybody knows about Mississippi, goddamn.
We are back, 3-6 Nation. We are live on Facebook. You can go to WLVS Radio, listenvision.com. We're there. Tweet us, Facebook us. You can find me, Ivan Edward, on Facebook. You can go to our Instagram, 3-6 Nation, 3_6_ Nation. We're having a lot of fun today. I have a lot of news stories. We've got a guest coming in. We're going to talk music, art, politics, all kinds of things. But let's catch you up with what's happening, shall we? Number one. I don't know if you realize this, but the FCC just ended the net neutrality rules. What does this mean for you? If you are a fan of the interwebs and you like being able to go all around the tubes and the valleys that fill the World Wide Web, you're going to have to pay a little bit more. What net neutrality effectively did was it prevented internet providers from doing a pay-to-play service. So, for example, if you want to go to Netflix, and that's a very popular site, the internet provider, Comcast or Verizon, for example, would say, hey, Netflix, you've got to charge an extra, several $1,000,000 if you want your people to get their fast speeds. Or they're going to charge the individual people, the consumers, say, you want the Netflix package with that? My friend, you're going to have to pay extra. Remember what they did to cable? How that broke everything up and suddenly nobody wanted cable anymore? Congratulations, the internet. You're welcome. But it gets better because it's not just that you have to do a pay-to-play situation. If you don't pay to play, what happens? Let's say you're a small business and you're running a little internet company and you want, a lot of users to find you. If you don't pony up the cash, you're going to have less traffic. You are going to be invisible because the internet has just been sold and it is location, location, location. So be prepared. There are acts of Congress that are trying to patch this up. A Republican senator from Florida, I believe, introduced a bill to reintroduce some of the less controversial measures of the FCC rules, one of which says, I don't even know. They're all half measures. None of them really make sense. None of them do what they're supposed to do. It does not prevent internet providers from doing exactly what I just described. And more importantly, Comcast, which had a big placard on their webpage saying they had a pledge, they were not going to do that, which basically they pledged to follow the rules. The day that the FCC changed those rules, that pledge was deleted. Yeah. So that happened. Also, in case you didn't hear it, the GOP passed a $1.5 trillion tax bill. Now, $1.5 trillion, in case you don't know, is $1,500 billion. That is a lot of money. That is an incredibly crazy amount of money. That is enough money to give every American, $3 million? $5 million? It's a crazy amount of money. It's nuts. Now, people ask, okay, well, what do they do with that money? They're giving it back to the people. It's a tax cut. Wrong! How dare you think that? What year do you think you're living in? 2004? No, this tax cut, 1.2 billion of it, you're not going to ever see it. It's not going to healthcare. It's not going to defense. It's not going to your roads or your education. It's not going to security, which is why we pay our taxes, isn't it? It's to provide the things that our government is supposed to be doing. Everybody pays the taxes so we can all get some benefit. But we don't get that. 1.2 of the $1.5 billion is going back to the very, very most wealthiest individuals. And everybody else gets to split $300 million. Congratulations, America. You're welcome. Now, what that tax cut is going to do, if you make under $25,000, you're going to get $60. If you make under $100,000, you might see a little tax rebate of around $500. If you are making over $100,000, well, my friends, your taxes didn't go down. If you're making over $250,000, you will see a significant rebate. And that's some good news if you're a billionaire. If you are a billionaire, please call 202. Whatever my number is, it's posted on the Facebook. But I could really use a little bit of that friendly advice, a little cash money, a little grease in the palm. That was the net neutrality, also the tax bill. Also, there's more. The continuing resolution. Nobody knows what that is, so let me break it down into 2 words. Government shutdown. What is about to happen is the government, while we've been debating all of these other fun things in Congress, like the healthcare bill, which is going to remove 23 million Americans from healthcare, or the tax cut, which gives $1.2 trillion back to the people who are doing pretty well. They forgot to fund the government. The government's funding expires tomorrow, and if they don't pass a resolution, well, they're out of money. So right now, Congress is having a special session. They are trying to get something passed. This pass will extend the government deadline another 2 weeks so that they can continue to... My language has to be so edited right now. The things that I want to say, I just cannot say in polite company. And you friends, you are my polite company, so I hold back. But right now, we are on the brink of just an unprecedented level of mishegas, and I, for one, have had it. I am not going to talk about DACA, although apparently 100 immigrants who have spent their entire lives in this country and are now living successfully amongst us as friends, relatives, coworkers, neighbors, and in fact are doctors, cancer researchers, medical professionals, IT, and service providers, and everybody else who you come and think of are losing their status and are being deported or about to be deported. We've got people losing their homes, families being split up. Congratulations, Republican Congress. You are doing a bang-up job. But there's more, because I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to dwell on that. I'm not going to dwell on CHIP. CHIP is the Child Insurance Health Program. Guess what? That ran out of funding in October. Now, we're still trying to figure out if we're going to pay for that, but kids, if you're listening to this, wish for Santa to bring you some health insurance, because he can do it. If any magic exists this Christmas season, little tiny Tim got some. I'm pretty sure you can get some too. We're not going to talk about Al Franken. We're not going to talk about Roy Moore, because apparently the Democrats cannot figure out whether they stand on this. People are moving forward. Now they're moving backward. Then they move forward again. We don't want sexual harassment, but we also don't want that bad of sexual harassment if it's a good person. And he's a good person if he stays, but he's not a good person if he goes. He's a good person if he resigns with dignity, but he's not a good person if he stays and yells about it, but then he resigns with dignity. I'm confused. Get your stories together, people. I can figure this out. You can too. Listen, I have two things I want to say about this. Number one, if you are watching this, I said this in June. I called out Mr. Trayvon White when we were talking about this summer. There was the incident down in Southeast with the woman who was being harassed on the street. I've been saying this throughout the year. I want to say one thing, and I want to say it again and again and again. Do not harass women. Don't do it. I don't know why that's difficult. It is difficult, apparently. So I'm going to do a list of harassing, okay? Don't squeeze bums. Don't grab pussies. Don't slap on the back with a nice little scratchy, all right? That's not appreciated. Don't touch someone without their permission. Don't kiss them without explicit consent. Don't give a friendly hug that lingers a little bit longer just because you... Don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. If you're at work, don't do that. If you're on the street and they're strangers, so you don't work with them, still don't do that. Okay? If you're at a party and everybody's drinking and they're having a good time and all the things, and you're like, hey, don't do it. If you're around your friends and you know everybody and you're comfortable and everything is cool and you haven't had that explicit consent of like, hey, let me give you a hug, buddy. And they're like, yeah, give me a hug. If you don't have real permission to encroach on someone's personal space, think that you might be making them feel uncomfortable with your body. And don't do that. If you do that, you are in the wrong. If you do that and say it's not a big deal, you are tone deaf, which makes you doubly in the wrong. If you do that, you say it's not a big deal, and then you use your position of authority to get away with it because everybody likes you. My friends, we've got trouble right here in Washington, D.C., or as they used to call it in the 1960s, Washington City. Listen, there's a lot of things that are happening right now. I could go on and on about politics. I don't want to. We have my friend Rio Tazewell, who is going to drop us his new single. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the intersection of art and politics. I want to talk about some non-American news. I want to talk about the YouTube star, the pirate who was just murdered. Very, very tragic situation, but it highlights a lot of the tragedies that are happening outside of our own backyard. it is important for us to be responsible, to be passionate, to be aware, and also to be thoroughly thoughtful. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to give some love to our sponsors who love us. We're going to love them back. We're going to come back. We're going to talk. We're going to yell. We're going to joy. We're going to make some jokes. You be here. 36 Nation Radio. Peace.
Come on, hustle, 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 hustle. Get your head in the game. Come on.
Are you setting the right example for your kids?
Are you even trying? The ball's down there. What are you doing? You need to get some confidence.
Come on, hustle up, get up there.
Reviewing last year, ad revenue has declined 15%.
Come on, get your head on straight.
Before your child's next game, ask yourself, how would you like it if they copied your behavior?
There are many ways which we can improve.
That's for sure. You need to get some confidence.
Positive Coaching Alliance has valuable tips and tools to help our kids perform their best while keeping sports enjoyable for everyone. Their development zone is a great resource for parents like us. Positive Coaching Alliance, creating better athletes, better people. Learn more at positivecoach.org/Fox Sports.
I love how USAA gives me the peace of mind and the security just like the Marines did. At one point I did change to a different company with car insurance and I was not happy with the customer service. We have switched back over and we feel like we're back home now.
The process through USAA is so effortless that you feel like you're a part of the family.
I love that I can pass a membership to my children and that they can be protected. We're the Williams family and we're USAA members for life.
Call USAA today to talk about your insurance needs.
I love how USAA gives me the peace of mind and the security just like the Marines did. At one point I did change to a different company with car insurance and I was not happy with the customer service. We have switched back over and we feel like we're back home now.
The process through USAA is so effortless that you feel like you're a part of the family.
I love that I can pass a membership to my children and that they can be protected. We're the Williams family and we're USAA members for life.
Call USAA today to talk about your insurance needs.
I love how USAA gives me the peace of mind and the security just like the Marines did. At one
If you can play, you can play.
If you can play,
you can play.
If you can play, you can play.
We are all
champions.
We are all
Red Hawks.
Red Hawk
For life.
Our staff, coaches, and student athletes welcome students of all races, religions, genders, sexual orientation, and national origin. We advocate and support the LGBTQ community.
We play.
Together.
We win together.
If you can play,
You can play.
At Montclair State University, if you can play, you can play.
if you can play, you can play.
If you can play, you can play.
It's about respect. Respect for our teammates, respect for our fans, and respect for our game.
It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. On this team, we're a family.
Racist, sexist, and homophobic language have no place on our team.
We pledge to make our locker room a safe place for everyone.
No matter your race, religion, or whether you are straight or gay, if you can play, you can play.
We are back, and I've changed seats. We are here with Rio Terswell. He is the government by the people campaign manager.
That's right.
For People for the American Way. He speaks to people, and he gets people riled up about stuff.
I try.
It's fun. I see your videos. You've got your own radio show now.
Yeah, it's actually internet video web show.
Internet video web show. He's going to be the next YouTube star. It's like the Young Turks, except without Turkishness.
We're following in that mold. Yeah, it's called the Reverb Report. It's a production of an outlet called Reverb Press, and we're just a progressive political commentary news outlet. We write articles, we generate memes, and now we do live, video commentary as well.
And
we
it's good.
Pre-produce stuff, and we're also doing some live coverage of the crazy stuff that's
So
happening.
who are you talking to? Like I guess the street cred comes when you can name drop. You want to know a little bit about who we're working with, who we're at right now. We're at Listen Vision. Everybody who's anybody comes through here in Washington, D.C.
It is the spot, yeah, for all things music.
And you record here too,
I've done
right?
some recording here, yeah. I'm really excited to be back here in a different capacity, but I've done a good bit of recording here now. I've got a mixtape of sorts that I'm getting ready to release, hopefully in early 2018.
On what?
Well, it's political hip hop, and it's something, yeah, it's something that I've been working on, really mostly behind closed doors for years now. It's been a big passion of mine, but I'm really at the point now where I'm interested in kind of merging this hobby essentially into my professional work, which is progressive political organizing. I work to try to hold the federal government accountable. We work to pass reforms on every level of government, local, state, and federal. But a lot of our work these days obviously is pretty wrapped up in the insanity that's coming out of the White House. And virtually every agency we're doing battle with, we're filing lawsuits, we're pushing for reforms, we're calling for Trump to be impeached. We're working to protect the special investigation of Robert Mueller, which is really becoming a pretty intense battle. The right wing has really started attacking to try to undermine the legitimacy of Mueller's investigation. And
it is shocking.
It is
to
shocking
see the amount of just blatant lies that are coming out from all directions in order to discredit people. Like we're watching on Fox News, you have people just yelling all kinds of wild speculations in order to muddy up the water, so nobody knows what's true, nobody knows how they should be focused, everybody's suspicious, nobody trusts even the function of the government anymore. And it makes it impossible.
Or the media.
Yeah,
particularly the media, but also the government.
We don't trust the justice system. We don't trust the FBI. We don't trust the executive branch. We don't trust Congress. And we should.
Right.
We have to. We have to have some kind of trust in our government if we are going to be a functioning society.
I agree. I mean, we need to trust the process and trust the institutions enough. I mean, the individuals, we need to hold them accountable. We don't want to give people our carte blanche trust. We need to be able to verify, and we need to be able to hold them accountable when they're not doing the things that we elected them to do. But we need to be able to trust the process of democracy, and we certainly need to be able to trust the process enough to turn out and vote for people that are going to represent our
We are going to
interests.
talk about voting in 2018. I'm going to harp on this all year long. We are going to talk about more work. If you guys are interested in getting involved, go to the People for the American Way. Online. They are a great organization, big fans of the stuff they've done. They've been around for a long time. They're actually a response that was generated against the moral majority back in the 80s, correct?
Yeah. It's founded by a guy named Norman Lear, who's a legendary television producer. And he founded it in 1981, I believe, as a response to the moral majority and the religious right.
And so you have lobbyist groups pushing one direction in order to undermine the majority of the people in America and what they want and the way that they have values and the way that they live their lives. And so this is kind of a balancing act to push against a single mindset or a single point of view.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we're working on a whole range of social and political equality issues.
Fantastic.
I mean, we're tackling, big, complicated things like racism and sexism and anti-LGBT bias, anti-immigrant bias, Islamophobia. But then we also work on systemic democracy reforms like curbing the influence of money in politics, working to reduce the influence of corporations in the political process.
Reduce corporations, and I think we're living in. He thinks we're living in 2004, friends. Listen. Can I ask you?
Yeah, sure.
That website is pfaw.org.
Yeah, pfaw.org.
Awesome.
You can read about all the work.
All right, let's talk about something other than work.
Okay.
Let's talk about some art. You have a single you brought with you. You're going to drop this. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about politics and art. Yes.
Yes, that sounds great.
Let's throw. Can we listen to what he's got? Here we go. Let's try this.
Yo, what the hell's wrong with the 45th president? Something's not right if this country elected him. But that's the thing, Donald Trump really didn't win. He got in because of Russian intervention. it begins. This modern drama that we're in, feel the sting. This shit is really happening. It's going down, seems more crazy every day. A rigged election, now the whole world has some hell to pay. You don't say, see how this is playing out. Cabinet full of oligarchs and people who don't care about the very thing that the agency's supposed to do. You think the EPA is meant to be a corporate tool? No, but I can tell you that Scott Pruitt does. He's been made the boss of it, so fossil fuels can ruin us. Oh, and speaking of some oil, yo, State Department's being run by ExxonMobil CEO. No joke, it's like we're living in the Twilight Zone. So wrong, but Mr. Putin's feeling right at home. You know, this administration's got to go, so let's elect some Democrats by really turning out the vote. Whoa, because Trump is an embarrassment, a national catastrophe, some very, very scary shit. I mean, the dude is pathological, so loose with the truth that it's practically impossible to cover him now. Everybody's asking how to hold him accountable and finally rat him out, because the media seems to be in disbelief, and we really need the truth, the fact that he's deceiving us in so many ways. A web of lies so thick that you get lost in it for days. The truth is so elusive cause it's hiding in a haze, but it's right around the corner and won't find it in this maze, man. Yo, Donald Trump is going down. Just wait until we finally find the facts and run him out of town. This dude is a disgrace. Decades of discriminating based on sex and race. This guy's gotta go. Simply unacceptable. And until recently, he seemed completely unelectable. But damn, what do you know? He really didn't win, yo. He lost the popular vote. Electoral College gave it to him, no. So goes the ways of this nation. Rules written in the days of slaves on plantations. It's insane that things are this way, but we work for truth and justice each and every day. It's amazing the power of the people, it's real. When the power of the people is the feeling you feel, you can feel the potential of what's possible now. If we set our minds to it and just figure out how to make America great, not again but at last. A promised land regardless of race, gender, or class, because we're better together, and that's just a fact. And there's been progress in this country and we're not going back, and that's that. No matter what Donald Trump does, cause soon enough we'll be saying how that Donald Trump was. History of our 45th commander-in-chief, widely known as a narcissistic slandering thief. Goddamn, Donald Trump is nothing but whiny. The man is so self-conscious he can't stand his hands are tiny. He's obsessed with this image, and when it comes to criticism, he gets aggressively livid and can't admit it. Truly a misogynist dude, objectifies his own daughter and takes pride in it too. Not to mention, he doesn't mind assault now, does he? Brags about meeting women and grabbing them by their pussy. How could he? I mean, how could we vote for this monster over HRC or Bernie? Forget it, no need to go there again. Just gotta keep on focusing on how it can win and beat him and every single thing he stands for. We've had enough division, we don't need any more for sure. Just gotta get his supporters to see that they voted for a con artist, literally. Indeed, the guy's got nothing to show. He's so full of shit that we're hitting the low. In this nation, tough times in the USA, but we're a brave people and resourceful in ways to make change. And now is when we need it the most. A real revolution from east to west coast, and hope that the people in the middle can see that Donald Trump ain't the one to lead the land of the free. So let's make sure we win in 2020. Oh, and coming right up, we've got 2018.
Nice, give it up for Rio Tesla.
Thank you, Ivan. Appreciate it, man.
I love this. That was okay. Number one, we're sitting here laughing and joking. People can watch us; they can't hear us. That beat was nice.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, and the lyrics are timely. And here's a question that I have, though. Mm-hmm. It's not even a though. That sounds like
oh, what's coming?
The question that I have is like, this is so placed in time, right?
That's true. Yeah.
As soon as he gets impeached, this is like a historical artifact. It's not a rally cry. Like right now, I can feel that, and I'm like, and then we're gonna look back. Remember those days? That was some good times.
Right. No, we really are living in a certain moment in history, and this song really is a reflection of that particular moment, and it does have a shelf life. I'm aware of that, and like I want to get it out. I'm trying to figure out the best way to release it. I'm working on some ideas for a music video, but we'll see. As far as Donald Trump getting impeached, I personally think it's very likely. Some groups are actually calling for his impeachment right now. The group that I work for is actually waiting to see until waiting to see what Robert Mueller comes up
Robert
with.
Mueller.
Because we feel like that he is asking the right questions.
On
and
the
he's
first day of Christmas, Robert Mueller gave to me
some great indictments, and there's more coming. There's more
I'm
coming.
pleased
It's
about
getting
that.
started. Yeah.
When did you write this song? Like, so it's been a crazy year, right? Was
It's
this
been a
like
crazy
early?
year.
Was this?
Yeah. So this was I wrote this in like March of this year. I did my first hip hop political project about a year ago before the election, and it was about money in politics because that's one of the main issues that I work on professionally. And I produced a music video. I collaborated with a bunch of people and used some really great, powerful protest footage from this big event that we did here in DC called Democracy Awakening in April of 2016. And I released the music video like 6 months later in October. And my thinking was, so then Donald Trump got elected the next month in November. And I took a big step back. I'm like, God, like, what do I want to do musically? I got really overwhelmed at work, obviously, with like dealing with this, crisis that no one really expected. No one really expected Donald Trump to win.
Yeah.
We didn't even have a contingency plan. So I didn't really do much musically for a few months, and then started thinking like, I want to write some more stuff, and what better to write about than our so-called president.
When you have all of these songs that one could write, you've picked hip hop, right?
Yeah.
Hip hop is the genre, but hip hop has always been a political genre, right?
In a lot of ways, yeah, it definitely has had a political streak to it. I mean, I wouldn't say that all hip hop is political by any means, but it has definitely been a form of, political commentary.
A political
Social
commentary
injustice.
of social injustice,
Totally.
Resistance, of
Absolutely.
urban resistance, of
Yes.
explaining the reality of the world that we live in to people who just can't access that, can't see it, can't go there. Who is the audience for your song?
So I would say, I mean, I'm trying to reach a broad swath of the American public, but I mean, younger people probably generally are going to resonate more with it. I would say generally millennials I'm going for. But I mean, I guess really, I mean, I'm looking to reach folks that are generally aware of what's happening more or less. Yeah. The injustices, the many injustices of the Trump administration, but maybe aren't super involved in the day-to-day of political activism. And I'm hoping that, using hip hop, as a medium for talking about political issues can maybe get people, paying more attention, but also taking more action.
I see, throughout every political crisis throughout history, throughout American history, you've had art that responds to that, right? And so
Yeah.
World War I, Vietnam, World War II, you had, a litany of films that came out. You had propaganda stuff that was, anti-Hitler, and you had, the Hollywood canteen and the Broadway stars unite and all of these things trying to rally support around a popular effort to get people involved in, the effects and the actions of the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Vietnam, the music did the same thing. For a different generation in a different way. Why don't we have more political art specifically dealing with the Trump administration, the crisis in 2018? We've got riots in Charlottesville, and and the Nazis and the supremacists and the shootings and the entire Black Lives Matter movement. I think there's a lot of face, but there's not a lot of. I don't see a lot of the art like we have seen in other generations that have been even defined by their art. Like the 70s were defined by that art.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, honestly, Ivan, I ask myself that question every day because I really don't understand why there isn't more overtly political music and art out there. I mean, there are artists that are getting political to some extent. Like they'll make a statement or do an event for a cause, or do something on social media, or maybe even have some like politically charged lyrics here and there. But you don't see a lot of kind of big name artists getting very explicitly political.
I got to apologize to everybody. I was watching the Country Music Awards.
Oh yeah,
and Garth Brooks got into some hot water for making some political stances, and they weren't even that much. But when you have these like huge names where like millions and billions of industry dollars are resting on what a person does or does not do. Is that the thing that's like? Is that limiting? Is that the thing that's keeping anything from happening? Is it just so milquetoast and whitewashed, no offense, that it has been like neutered? There is no power in our art?
I think that's a really big part of it, honestly. I think, artists are afraid of alienating any part of their potential fan base, and they probably get pressure and heat from the labels, the record companies, the producers, to not be too controversial, because they're all about the bottom line, and like if you take a stand on something, you're gonna piss somebody off. If you believe something and you're outspoken about it, there's gonna be people that don't agree with you.
Have you seen BoJack Horseman?
I've heard a lot about it. I've actually never watched it.
If you guys have not seen BoJack Horseman, it's on Netflix. It's original cartoon series. It's gonna look really surreal. It is very surreal. It is
I've seen the
best commentary. I think it will be the best single artifact for 200 years from now, when like they study like what happened with America. This single piece of art will be the cultural Rosetta Stone. It is not only the most accurate thing out there as far as our celebrity culture, our media culture, our 15 minutes of fame for every nobody, and the complete like psychological meltdown of people who are in that celebrity's place. But it's also dated, where they talk about, like, they'll put something like, this is in 2017, this is in 2015, this is in 2004. And so they're really tracing cultures as they have developed in our lifetimes or over this millennial generation. People want to understand that. I think it's a really great thing to look at.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I've been hearing people say similar things about it.
The only reason I brought it up, there was this one moment in the third season. There is this a character. She's a pop star, and she writes this song called "Pow Pow," and it is the most offensive song, if it was a real song, out there, topic-wise. It is a, how do we say, an irreverent treatment of the abortion debate. Complete, and everybody loses their mind. And it explores that question about how do we treat politics, and what is the role of a person in a public spotlight. A couple weeks ago, we talked about Ellen and Katy Perry with the sexual harassment thing, and they're like tweeting pictures back and forth. And so I think all of these questions keep repeating themselves. Do we have a responsibility to be nice? Like, do we have a responsibility to, shape culture, to influence culture, to be offensive? Like, how does that? Like, I don't have an answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on who you ask. I mean, I kind of feel like if you're a public figure and you're famous for one reason or another, you have a responsibility to, stand for something and be transparent about what you believe. If you want to keep your politics personal, I mean, I guess that's your right. But
Jimmy Fallon, we're talking about you.
This is for you, Jimmy.
I love you. We're a big fan. I want to be on your show.
He's a funny guy.
But he suffered because.
But look at what Jimmy Kimmel did. Look, on the other hand,
Jimmy Kimmel.
He really took a relatively complex issue like healthcare policy and made it very personal. Using the story of his infant or baby son, and reached millions of people at a really critical time in the healthcare debate. And if more celebrities can step up and learn how to use their star power, whether it's from personal experience or not, I think Jimmy Kimmel's story is really particularly resonated with people because it was so personal. But I think celebrities can still just speak from their own knowledge.
Because they're people too.
Because they're people. It's like if you pay attention,
they experience life.
They can get on the internet too and read what's happening.
There it is. Awesome. Listen, we are going to take a break. We have to pay some people and shake some sponsors. We're going to be right back. How can people get in contact with you? They want to get in contact with you. Where should they go? Who should they email? Who should they call? How do they do that?
They can find me on Facebook. My name's Rio, R-I-O. Last name's Tazewell, T-A-Z-E-W-E-L-L. Feel free to connect with me on there. I'm going to be developing a website soon where I'll have my music and my political commentary stuff. But right now, Facebook.
And the radio show?
The radio show.
What's the title of that?
Oh, the internet news show?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's video. Yeah, and that's on Facebook too. That's called The Reverb Report. and it's at Reverb Press. So if you go to Reverb Press on Facebook, you'll find it. And I'm posting about once a week there, but we're cranking out content every day there in terms of like articles.
Reverb Press.
Reverb Press. Rio Tazwell.
Awesome, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
We're
for
going to
having me.
commercial. We will be back. 3-6 Nation.
I did change to a different company with car insurance, and I was not happy with the customer service. We have switched back over, and we feel like we're back home now.
The process through USAA is so effortless that you feel like you're a part of the family.
I love that I can pass a membership to my children and that they can be protected. We're the Williams family, and we're USAA members for life.
Call USAA today to talk about your insurance needs.
I love how USAA gives me the peace of mind and the security just like the Marines did. At one point I did change to a different company with car insurance, and I was not happy with the customer service. We have switched back over, and we feel like we're back home now.
The process through USAA is so effortless that you feel like you're a part of the family.
I love that I can pass a membership to my children and that they can be protected. We're the Williams family, and we're USAA members for life.
Call USAA today to talk about your insurance needs.
I love how USAA gives me the peace of mind.
If you can play, you can play.
If you can play,
You can play.
If you can play, you can play.
We are all
champions.
We are all
Red Hawks.
Red Hawk.
For life.
Our staff, coaches, and student athletes welcome students of all races, religions, genders, sexual orientation, and national origin. We advocate and support the LGBTQ community.
We play.
Together.
We win
Together.
If you can play,
You can play.
At Montclair State University, if you can play, you can play.
If you can play,
you can play.
If you can play, you can play.
Come on, hustle, 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 hustle. Get your head in the game. Come on.
are you setting the right example for your kids?
Are you even trying? The ball's down there. What are you doing? You need to get some confidence.
Come on, hustle up, get up there.
Reviewing last year, ad revenue has declined 15%.
Come on, get your head on straight.
Before your child's next game, ask yourself, how would you like it if they copied your behavior?
There are many ways which we can improve.
That's for sure. You need to get some confidence.
Positive Coaching Alliance has valuable tips and tools to help our kids perform their best while keeping sports enjoyable for everyone. Their development zone is a great resource for parents like us. Positive Coaching Alliance, creating better athletes, better people. Learn more at positivecoach.org/Fox Sports.
Come on, hustle, 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 hustle. Get your head in the game. Come on.
Are you setting the right example for your kids?
Are you even trying? The ball's down there. What are you doing? You need to get some confidence.
Come on, hustle up, get up there.
Reviewing last year.
3-6. We're back. 3-6 Nation Radio. So I don't know if you guys have seen this. YouTube star El Pirata de Culhuacan. I don't know how to pronounce Spanish. I apologize. You can feel free to call in if you would like to help. He was murdered. His body was found with 15 bullet wounds in it, and the police had to identify him by his tattoos. Let's rewind this and explain what happened. So, a young man growing up in Mexico found his way and no school, family's gone, and he tried to establish himself on the interwebs, as so many young people are wont to do. He was a, no offense, bumbling clown. That was his stick. He would go to parties, he would get super drunk, downing entire bottles of hard liquor. He's 17. And then he would pass out and do antics and things like that. And so he had over 1 million followers on YouTube. He had 300,000 followers on Instagram.
everybody liked him, and he drew a mustache, a beard on his face so he looked older. He's a kid. He's a dumb kid. Unfortunately, being a dumb kid, he insulted a powerful cartel boss whose name is El Mencho. Now, El Mencho is a cartel. It is Mexico's fastest growing and deadliest cartel. They smuggle drugs, obviously, kidnapping, extortion, gasoline theft, and selling. A lot of bad dudes. Reportedly, they are being run by a former police officer in Mexico. And Mexico is right now a terrifying place. Last year, there were over 20,000 murders. Look at me. 20,000 murders. So this YouTube star gets up, he's at a party, he's wasted as all get out, and he gives I'm not going to say it, I'm not going to get murdered. He says a very insulting phrase about this guy, and the police found his body riddled with bullets. What we have here is two tragedies. Number one, you have a country that is being just completely torn up by violent criminal aspects, right? You have cartels, you have roaming street gangs, you have all kinds of terrible, violent things happening to people. You have people who are trying to get out, who are trying to immigrate to other places, who cannot, for whatever reason, Donald Trump says, they can't leave their country. And so they are trapped in this place, and so they do what they can. And then you have him here in this instance, this kid murdered. I think it's an absolute tragedy. One of his friends was saying that he wanted to get better. He wanted to change his lifestyle. It was hurting him, as being famous for being a luscious 17-year-old wasty-faced drunk will do to a person's life. But he did not have any stability. He didn't have any people that he could go to, and there was nobody he could really turn to, because celebrity forces you to keep doing the thing that you do that keep you celebrity. That's what's feeding you, so you keep doing it. This guy in death is more famous than he ever was in life. He got a Rolling Stone article. He's on the cover of the New York Times. I don't know cover. Everything's on the internet these days, so I just type his name and it's like front corner picture, whatever. But this kid is everywhere. And I think it really highlights a problem that we have, not just our neighbors to the south, but really our entire world, from Charlottesville, not keep going back there. We have South Korea just got rid of their president. Was that last year? Was that last year or this year? South Korea just kicked out President Moon. I think that was this year. Like, so much has happened. It's been a long year. You've got the war that's happening in Syria. You've got the turmoil in Jerusalem. I don't know if you just saw the United Nations voted 129 to 9, condemning the United States' declaration that Jerusalem is the Israeli capital, because it's going to cause the Middle East to melt down. All of these problems that we have with just utter and nonstop violence. And what is our role as a people, as a nation, right? I'm living down in northeast. I forget where I'm at. I'm bounced all over the city. I'm living on H Street, right? And I know my neighbors. They are good people. They are nice. If my neighbor had his house burning down, I would want to do something other than put flame retardant walls up, right? Our job, our responsibility as humans, as being part of a global citizenry, as being part of humanity. If you are at all a religious person, there is a commission in the Bible. There is a pull. If you are Hindu, there is a universality. If you are Buddhist, if you are Muslim, if you are Jewish, there is an obligation that we have to love our neighbors, right? I'm not talking about the guy who lives next door to you. I'm talking about all of them, right? The story of the Good Samaritan, love your neighbor. Instead, we go around the country, we block them, we make sure they can't get help. We watch these kids get murdered and we say, at least they're not coming here. Meanwhile, we can go to Chicago. We got murders in Chicago. Kids have no choices, no options. They can't get stuck. We've got our education system having a meltdown. There was a report in the Washington Post on Ballou High School. It was doing an expose on how many teachers were pressured and forced to change attendances and grades and pass people who cannot read. Right now, we can look at nationwide. Do you have any idea the number of proficient readers are high school seniors? The number is less than 50%. Less than 40%. 37, my friends. 37% of high school seniors are proficient readers. Now, regardless of what we say about the measurement of proficiency and whether that's even a good enough standard, that means 63% of our high school seniors don't even meet that threshold. Like, what are we doing? Why is education being treated like a luxury item? Why is safety being treated as something that you have to buy into? Why are entire communities being cut off and let drown and let die while billionaires, and I don't have a problem with billionaires, right? I like them. They are good people. Please give me money. They are amazing at what they do, which is making money, right? That's why they're billionaires. But every person, no matter who you are, has a responsibility to the society that you are a part of. If you are a janitor making minimum wage, you have a responsibility to be a good person, to take care of the people around you. If you are a middle-class family man with 2 kids, you have a responsibility to share what you have and share the opportunities that have been afforded to you to make your neighborhood and your community and your nation better. If you were a billionaire, as the Bible has said, too much is given, much is required. I don't think that is some kind of socialist propaganda. I think that's the responsibility and the things that you have gotten from the society that has built so much and has allowed you to thrive so much. You get to choose how to take care of that. You get to say, you know what, I'm going to donate to these health projects, or I'm going to donate to these schools, or I'm going to help fund a lot of road programs, or I have a very strong passion. Like, you get to choose how you better your country. But I am sick and tired of people on all spectrums, from the very bottom to the very top, who are so self-focused and who are so narcissistic that they refuse to look around them and see what they can do to make the lives of everyone around them better. And as a result, they themselves are miserable, and the people around them are miserable, and everybody is taking and nobody is giving back. And we wonder why we're not moving forward. I think we can change that. 2018 is going to be the year to fight. I'm looking forward to it. Friends, this is 3-6 Nation Radio. I'm Ivan Woner. Monica Livingston is coming back next week. I hope sometimes she just gets caught up. The angels lift her out and she disappears. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to having her back. We have a lot of guests lined up for 2018, people who are very excited. We've got some political people. We've got some athletic people. We've got some business people. I think we've got a comedian or two who's shown interested in being here. So if you are enjoying yourselves, please stay tuned. Until then, have a Merry Christmas, a happy holiday, a fantastic new year. Stay strong, keep the faith, don't give up, love your neighbor. 3-6 Nation, this is Ivan Woner for Monica Livingston, Sean Parker in Minnesota. We love you. Peace.